Don't talk about playoffs. You kidding me?
Not a game. We talking about practice.
We thought they were, and we let them off the hook.
Decide a different need. I'm coming. I'm flat out coming.
It's my quarterback. And if you guys do that, man, it's unfair.
Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to another edition of the Sports Report Podcast. I'm your host, Mr. William D. Morgan, and I have a cast of thousands with me tonight, and including a special guest. Now, this young lady, I work with her. We've been working together for a minute now, and she is an avid basketball fan, and I want to come on the show so we can talk about some of this stuff going on in the NBA, because we got the commissioner talking stuff, we got Scottie Pippen talking stuff, bunch of stuff going on. Let me go ahead and bring her in real quick. Benz, what's going on? How you doing?
What's up?
How you doing tonight?
Doing pretty good. Excited to be here on the podcast. Thanks for the invite.
Anytime. Appreciate you coming in. All right, let me go ahead and bring in my co-host. This man has forgotten more baseball than I will ever know because I never stopped with Asian chicks. Let me bring my man Tony in. Tony, what's up?
Man, when are you gonna learn that the bad thing about Asian chicks is you're just horny again in an hour? You got to figure it out, man. You got to get your priorities right. You got to get your head right. You're not Scottie Pippen. You're not going to be able to continue to dunk on people with a bunch of women in front of you because Michael Jordan put him in front of you. You gotta dedicate, man. You gotta dedicate.
Okay, I remember dedicate. I remember that. I remember that when I look at my Instagram feed. All right. Let me go on ahead and bring on this next person. Now, he is with me on Saturday nights from my other podcast, the Geek Gauntlet Podcast. Let me bring my man Ando in. Ando, what's up?
What is up, Will? 7, you said it right. He needs to stop hanging out with them Asian chicks. However, we do know those Asian chicks are going to be in Los Angeles with all the Asian pitchers going into that area. So, Will, if you need a party with Asian chicks, just go to Dodger Stadium. There's going to be a whole handful there for you, man.
Oh, okay. I ain't know all that. Oh, I might be a new Dodgers fan. I might join the Dodgers.
Who did the Dodgers just pick up, 7? Because I know they just signed another.
They just picked up somebody, didn't they?
It's I forget my own name. You guys are asking me the wrong question. It's Sasaki. I think his last name is Sasaki. He's a player. He's a pitcher. He actually had a 2.1 something ERA in the Japanese league, which is fantastic because there's a lot of baseball talent in Japan. They won the last World Baseball Classic for the baseball version of the World Cup for a reason. There's a lot of talent in Japan. But they're all going to the Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah. Like I said, Dodger Stadium is where Will needs to hang out with that sign. Just pick any random last name and some lady will walk up to you, Will.
There we go. That's what I need right there. That's what I need. Love them Asian girl. All right, let me go ahead into my future ex-wife, the one I'll be paying more child support to. Erica, what's up?
Not much, and his name is Roki Sasaki.
There you go.
Erica would know. Hot and heavy for those Dodgers players.
A huge Dodgers fan.
I would.
All right. And last but not least, this man kills me. He lives in Philly.
But hates Philadelphia.
Can't stand the Eagles. can't stand the 76. Well, I don't like the 76ers. Remember my man Kyle and Kyle, what's up?
What's up, bro? The sweetest fish in the house. Nah, for real though, I wouldn't trust the process either if it took me 8 years to never make it to an Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh hell yeah!
Hell no.
Hell yeah! I gotta go to Benz for a second because I gotta get this out. I gotta get this off my chest. All right, Benz, I'm gonna go to you. I'm gonna defer to you on this one. We have Adam Silver saying that he's gonna fix the issues in the NBA with the 3-point shooting. My question is, how are we gonna do that? How is that something that can be fixed?
I don't know if that's something that can be fixed. They just throw up shots. I don't know how. That's a good one there.
Tie Steph Curry's hands behind his back so that it's harder for him to.
Make sure Steph's thumb isn't messed up so he can shoot all his threes. Because right now.
Here's my problem with that. When Adam Silver said that statement, here's my issue. When you have analytics people telling you the 3-point shot is a better shot than a mid-range jumper, what do you do?
That's I mean, that unfortunately is just the way basketball's kind of been drawn to now, man. If you look back in the 90s when you and I and Kyle were watching basketball, it was all low post. Ewing, O'Neal, Elijah One, David Robinson. That's how it was. Yep. Jordan was kind of that exception to the rule. Then Penny kind of made it into that. It's kind of good to have handles. We'll lay it up on the glass. Then Kobe, AI, Vince Carter, they all made it cool to go to the rim, dunk. And then it's just the way that basketball's evolved. I think everybody wants that 3-point shot now. Who can hit it from the farthest out with the most hands in their face? Mid-range is a lost art, man. It's, anybody can shoot a mid-range. Oh, that dude's shooting it from half court. That guy right there.
Hey, saying anybody can hit a mid-range shot is extremely disrespectful to Russell Westbrook.
My bad. I take that back, Russell Westbrook. My bad. And to our boy at the strip club, James Harden. I'm sorry.
That's so disrespectful.
The issue is the NBA's issue with 3-point shooting is the same issue. Is similar to the issue that baseball has with teams focusing on players that are long ball hitters. But the downside is when you put your effort into these players that are specialists at that one long shot long ball hitter, you're going to have those players that in crunch times crumble like Aaron Judge did in the World Series where he struck out because all he was doing was going for the long ball. So you have to find a way, in order to fix the problem, you would have to find a way to incentivize mid-range game. The problem is the impact that striking out has in baseball is not the same as missing a three has in basketball, right? Because basketball is so quick. You're up and you're down, you're back, and all of that. So outside of saying, okay, fine, everything's 2, and taking the 3-point line away again altogether, there's not really anything they can do. Yeah. What are you going to do? Say, okay, well, are we going to put a rule in the NBA that you can only shoot 1 3-point shot per team every 2 minutes?
Right.
You know? That's it. The NBA's 3-point problem isn't something that they can fix with a rule,
or even fix it overnight. That's not.
Yeah.
Or even fix it overnight. You have to have these, whatever the NBA's version of the winter meeting is, where the coaches and the owners all get together and meet. Because I'm sure that they have something like that they do during the off season. And any sports league has to.
Yeah, it's called the Ron's barbecue party.
Whatever. And you have to, as coaches and owners, agree that you're going to get rid of things like load management, because that load management has a bigger problem for the NBA than the 3-point shooting. I don't go to if I'm going to go to a Warriors game, I'm not going to see their second team start. I want to see Steph Curry.
Right.
So, and it's like, 82 games is a lot. Okay, cool. That sucks. Train more. You got what, a 5-month season, right? So NBA season, including finals, is what, 5 months?
6.
Is it 6?
Yeah, November to May, so it's actually closer to 7.
Okay, so 6-7 months. The physical demand of shooting, it's a very NBA is cardio and looking where you throw the ball. That's what it is. Does it suck to have to train a lot? Yes, but you're also making tens of millions of dollars to run up and down a court, something that we all did in high school and middle school and grade school.
Mm-hmm.
Just do it. Load management should not exist. Load management is a bigger problem in the NBA than 3-point line.
And we can blame, we can blame at the end of the day the San Antonio Spurs for that.
If that alien-looking motherfucker Adam Silver really wants to improve basketball, he needs to do something about load management.
Yeah,
because that has a bigger problem. Like Zion Williams, his career is sitting on load management. Zion Williams actually deserves the moniker street clothes more than Anthony Davis, and that's saying something.
Agreed.
Load management is a bigger problem in the NBA than the 3-point line.
Agreed. All right, one last thing I did want to touch on from the NBA, Scottie Pippen. Benz, I showed you this earlier. Scottie Pippen is on that stuff again. He said even without Michael Jordan, he'll still have 6. I'm gonna go to you one more time, Biz. Biz, can you tell me how does he even come to that conclusion?
It's crazy he would come to say anything like that because Scottie Pippen's stats don't compare anywhere near Jordan's stats. I don't think he doesn't rank anywhere, I think, except for steals, even in the same category as Michael Jordan. So to say that you can get the ring without him, impossible. I don't think he would have even been a talk. He wouldn't have been on any headlines or anything. So Jordan was definitely the leader between the pack.
He had that one good year. He had that one good year with Portland. He almost took Portland all the way. Other than that, that was it.
To be fair, the first year that he took over, 93, 94, the first year that Jordan was gone.
He did good then too.
Pippen was out there. Yeah, he did have that diva mentality and no, I can't get the ball last. I'm going to go pat on the end of the bat. It's like, fucking put your big boy pants on. But I agree with Ben. It's like, if you want to prove without a shadow of a doubt that you are a player outside of your alpha dogs mentality, and you want to do it outside of the shadow of the greatest player in the 90s, you needed to win a ring with Houston when you had 2 Hall of Famers, or you needed to win it in Portland as the top dog. And you were never the top dog in Portland. You were never treated that way.
Nope.
Hell, I think Sabonis was treated as more of an alpha dog than Pippen was. And Pippen had the history. Go ahead.
Well, what I was going to say was you could even entertain the discussion on what Pippen is saying if he has more success in the season where Jordan was playing baseball, read suspended for gambling issues. They just didn't want to say it like that and kill the views in the league and kill his reputation, because he was literally saving basketball at that point, because without Jordan, basketball struggles in the 90s. And so it's I respect the talent that Scottie Pippen has. I think he was a valuable piece to those teams. However, there's nothing to back it up.
No.
Literally nothing.
And this just proves that Scottie was the support. Jordan was the assault. He was the DPS guy. Pippen was the support. Kobe proved that he was the alpha dog by winning 2 more championships and going to 3 without Shaq. Did it take some time? Yep. But it proved that he was willing to do it. LeBron took 2 bum Cavalier teams to the finals, took a loaded Heats team to the finals 4 years in a row, took, I would say definitely the Kyrie team was a loaded team, but the 2 teams after that, where they lost to the Warriors after they won in 16, he took them to 2 more finals. It proves that Pippen and how he views himself as a basketball player is absolutely misjudged. That he does not have the information that he's laying down.
Now, Benj, you've never talked about this. I'm going to ask you on the air. In your opinion, who wins the Jordan versus LeBron debate? Who do you think is better?
Oh, that's a good one. I don't know. Bronny, he might. I think he got Jordan, and I don't know if it's because I don't know which one of them have been playing basketball longer, but I'm pretty sure LeBron has received more
LeBron has the longevity. That's true.
minutes, and he has ranked a lot higher in his stats. I want to say definitely LeBron would win the battle, but it's a close race, and maybe Jordan was his idol. Um, Jordan's going to be the greatest of all time ever, but I think LeBron might have him, especially as he continues his legacy because it hasn't ended, and then he hasn't stepped out like Jordan and went on to other sports and came back like he's what is he 20 years in
Yeah.
right now, and
I
then
think he's actually 20. I think he's 21 in because isn't he pushing 40 and he started playing when he was 18, so he could be 21 or 22 years in right now.
right record
Oh,
break.
that's right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
No, so
Good point.
where I will say, and Will, Seven, Erica, they all know me. I'm a Bulls fan, and I will say Jordan until the day I die is the GOAT. Physically and with the longevity, you cannot give it to anybody other than LeBron. I mean, to be able to play
I could agree.
75, 80 games a year, even with load management, minus his years with the Lakers, LeBron was never hurt. He took care of his body. He made sure, maybe not all the way mentally, but physically, he was ready to play basketball the entire season and then into the playoffs. So
Right.
when you compare Michael and LeBron as a physical specimen compared to each other, I don't think Michael can play physically the way that LeBron does because LeBron just is built that much bigger. He's going to take that much more of a beating. But I think where LeBron has the longevity and the physical strength, Michael killed you on the floor with his knowledge and his ability to read the floor. They knew Jordan was getting the ball inside 2 minutes to play, and he still made teams pay. I'm going to go to the court. I'm going to go to the hoop. Oh, stop. I got my spot right here. I'm going to take the shot. You could game plan 48 hours out of a day on Jordan, and Jordan is still going to get his 30. He's still going to be the guy that takes the last shot. You're not going to necessarily see that with LeBron. I think as far as mental and that just killing dog attitude, I think that's what gives Jordan the GOAT title over LeBron.
I just came up with an analogy, and I think that it's different, but it's the same. So when we look at when we look at Jordan, Jordan is the Brady of Major League Baseball, or I'm sorry, of the NBA, because he has the titles, he has that killer dog mentality, he sees and plays the game different. And then we have LeBron, the Patrick Mahomes, if you will, where he's not just winning games. He's taking his team farther consistently than any one single player does.
And even with the
Jordan
stats being down, so I'm thinking more Patrick than LeBron. My bad.
Let me finish cooking on this because hear me out. So with LeBron, wasn't there a stretch of like 10 years straight where LeBron got his team to the finals?
8. It was
8 straight.
He was in the East. Yeah.
And then I think it was 10 out of 12.
Yeah.
Okay. To me now, and I'm a firm believer in Bill Russell because if you want to talk about titles and that's your biggest argument for Jordan is 6 or 6, that's great.
Title.
Bill Russell had 11 titles. You come at me with something else. I work with a guy that used to play in the NBA, faced Jordan and Bill Russell, and will still advocate himself as Bill Russell. So I'm going to lean towards trusting the actual NBA.
Yeah.
But when we look at the results that LeBron has gotten as a player, as a whole, because they play 2 different positions, LeBron plays the game differently. He's definitely physical. Even some people talk about flopping. He takes a lot of abuse to do that flopping too. Like he takes those hits and sells it. He has to move around. There's a lot to what LeBron does. Jordan was just a killer. And I will respect the hell out of Jordan till the day I die. Jordan was a killer. LeBron is naturally athletically gifted. And there is a stark difference between the two. Patrick Mahomes, naturally athletically gifted, taking his team farther than any other NFL player ever could on a consistent basis.
Yeah.
But Brady is the GOAT because he got the 7 titles and he has that mentality. Jordan is seen as the GOAT by most people for the NBA because he has that killer mentality. He got those 6 titles. But when you look at how Jordan broke down at the end of his career, that last 2 seasons, like the last 2 seasons in with the Wizards, you look at what LeBron has done with the Lakers post the bubble.
Yeah.
There is just such a stark difference because of that longevity. He's making an impact for longer than Jordan did.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that I don't think LeBron gets enough respect for because he's been doing it for as long as he's been doing it at such a high clip. He's not out doing this at 5 points a game. No. LeBron is 41 years old and still, or 40 years old and still averaging 20.
Yeah, no, and he's pushing. There are games where, like during a stretch this year, he's averaged almost 30 a game. Jordan, don't get me wrong, the GOAT, that killer mentality. 41 years old, he was not going to be putting up 40 points a game. He'd be lucky at 22.
But the thing is with that, I don't even want to use that comparison because look at the era they playing.
True.
The era's way different.
They are way different eras too. And
the eras are different. That's true.
That's the hard thing about the entire debate, though.
Yeah.
The NFL in Brady's era is different than it is now, even though Brady hasn't even been removed from the league 5 years. The game is just different now.
Yeah.
The NBA in the 90s was savage.
Oh, yeah.
It was the fucking Wild West.
Yeah.
And the NBA now is fucking powder puff soft.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it is.
7, I'm going to blow on you. Oh, that's a technical. That's a technical.
Yes. Oh, yes. Do it again. Do it again.
Bad breath, 7.
Hey, real quick, Benz, I got to ask you this real quick, and then I'll take it to the other crew. The state of the NBA, are you happy with the overall state of the league right now? Because I'm not.
I mean, I'm not dissatisfied. I watch NBA. Honestly, I watch the games every night. I'm not dissatisfied with the overall league. I think there's just a few opportunities. One, the fouls, like we were just talking about, everything you do, they are getting knocked on. Like you said, you can breathe, trip over a foot accidentally, and then boom. So that part, I think there should be some more leeway. They're blowing the whistle way too much, like it's college basketball versus NBA. Other than that, I mean, I've been enjoying these games coming close. I almost went to a game when I was in DC. I was about to go watch the Wizards in New York play. And honestly, it was just between the casino and the game. So I just decided the casino.
You have a better chance at your winnings at the casino than for the Wizards or the Knicks to win.
Hey, now, Benz, I know you watch WNBA too, right?
Oh, man, I watch WNBA. Sometimes I'm more watching the NBA. So this season, I haven't been watching the WNBA like I should be.
The WNBA hasn't started back up yet, has it? I know that they did.
No, it's still in the offseason.
3-on-3.
I just want to get your opinion on somebody who I think could be a lot better. I just want to get your opinion real quick, Benz, on Angel Reese.
Angel Reese was drafted one way too soon. I think they put her in the boat with Caitlyn, and it really wasn't a competition there, but they made it like it was a competition between the two of them. She had an opportunity to stay and still develop her technical skills on the college side before going into the WNBA. She done dropped her money. You done missed your NILs that you got. You could have still been getting all this money, increasing techniques, and then getting into the NBA. But I guess she had to go while it was hot, and why they even wanted speaking her name before she ends up overseas. If she could have waited another year or two, she probably would have been playing overseas versus the WNBA. But I think she's a good player. Don't get me wrong. I just think she has an opportunity to still learn. It should have been more investment into her before dropping her out there.
Yeah,
my only complaint with Angel Reese is when you get 10 shots at the buckets and you get 9 offensive rebounds and you miss the other 9 shots. You gotta clean that up, Angel. Ain't nobody gonna say that you can't get your rebounds. I mean, you got the size and the determination to get those rebounds, but you gotta clean up better down low, sister. Like,
it's my issue with Angel Reese because I love the publicity that the WNBA got.
Oh,
I'm not like a lot of people.
Oh yeah.
I'm not like a lot of people that just discovered the NBA because of Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. I went to WNBA games when I was a kid watching the Phoenix Mercury.
Yeah.
So like I grew up watching
games.
Yep.
I got to watch those girls, those women play, and some of those women could absolutely ball.
Yeah.
But when you have somebody that is one of the most publicized players in the WNBA over somebody like Sabrina Ionescu.
Oh, come on, dude.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that she's the best, but I'm saying Angel Reese is publicized over her when fundamentally Sabrina Ionescu is better than Angel Reese.
Much better. Mm-hmm.
Angel Reese does not have the basic fundamentals that you should have as a professional athlete in your sport. That is my biggest problem with Angel Reese. I love the competitive edge. I love the personality. I don't give a shit what people say about the certain things that she does, like the clothes that she wears or when she gets the long ass fingernails.
Man,
sure,
that's one of my biggest problems is fingernails. I don't know how you play basketball.
That's my question. I don't know either, but you know what? Professional sports is about being entertaining.
Eyelashes long.
Yeah.
She's definitely a glam shot on the court.
to that, you know what? If she wants to do that's on her. But I will take issue with the fundamentals, the lack of fundamentals, and like I criticize Russell Westbrook for it. And how often the reason that he got a double-double or a triple-double is because he was getting his own rebounds because he wasn't making shots. That's the same thing that Angel Reese is doing. So I'm going to hold her to the same standards because she's also a professional athlete.
Yes. All right.
Hopefully hold on, Will.
Hopefully.
Hold on, Will, before you jump to the next topic.
Go ahead.
I didn't even get to speak on the LeBron mic.
Do you think, man?
Oh, Kyle did not. Kyle's sitting there in the corner, all quiet.
Do you think, man?
So, all right. Let's take stats and put the stats to the side. All right. Why is Muhammad Ali known as the greatest boxer? Known as the greatest of all time? Why is Muhammad Ali known for that?
Because he was a fucking killer.
The way he did it.
Yep.
I didn't see Muhammad Ali box. I saw Tyson. To me, I think Tyson is the greatest.
Yeah, from an opinion standpoint, yeah, I would say the same thing. Mm-hmm. But it's what he did in the ring and what he did outside the ring.
Mm-hmm.
If at the end of the day, the younger people, if somebody younger than me in their 20s, 30s says, "Oh, LeBron's the GOAT," all right, cool. That's what y'all grew up on. That's fine. At no point in time did LeBron James make me want to drink Sprite. Follow me. I remember I might have been fifth, sixth grade. Mike had everybody drinking Gatorade. Yep. Everybody wanted to be like Mike.
Everybody wanted to wear Hanes.
I never heard anyone say I want to be like LeBron. The influence outside of the game weighs into that heavily.
I'll give you that.
Yeah, I can go with that too. Shaq wanted me to get Reebok pumps.
Yeah,
he definitely had me wanting to get pumps. Actually, I got a pair of pumps. I couldn't wait to pump them up.
Oh my God!
Maybe that's where my love for Taco Bell came from, was because of that commercial between Shaq and Hakeem, between the crunchy and soft tacos. Listen, that's where my love for the double decker taco came in.
My love for pumps came from Dave Chappelle in Robin Hood Men in Tights. Hold on, hunky. I need some air.
I remember that. I remember that.
No, I didn't say a Jew. I said, I didn't say Abe Lincoln. I said, hey, Blinken, hold the reins, man.
Yeah, so I think that's always going to be a key factor. Because I even watched my son, who's 19, at a point in time, him and his friends. My son loved LeBron sneaks, like the nines. No sooner than Steph started lighting it up from behind the arc, my son said, "Fuck LeBron James." Like, seriously. Damn. Like, he really did. He jumped ship real quick, but he only liked his kicks. The thing is, like I said, it's the influence within the game and outside the game. And we talked about this before. LeBron did nothing to change the game of basketball.
This is true.
He did nothing to change the game. Yeah. Nothing changed since he's played.
No.
This is true.
You don't hear about the LeBron rules, but you hear about the Jordan rules in the 90s.
So it's other influences. So again, for those who are younger, if that's their guy, I'm not going to knock it, because everybody should have a GOAT. Yeah. When people talk about Joe Montana, I saw Joe Montana play.
Yep.
Joe Montana's a GOAT.
Until they saw Tom Brady.
The GOAT. Oh, you can have more than one GOAT for real. So I don't know why people get bent out of shape with it, but you're going to have one A and one B. All right, cool. I can go with that, but he's not surpassing Mike. It's Mike.
I get that. I honestly, and that's the thing but also one of the things that we have to take into account, that because I get what you're saying and I agree that is true, but I do also think, like, for me, and it's just because I do remember enough of the 90s. I get that I was younger. I remember enough of the 90s, especially looking at it as an adult now. The 90s was a marketing gold mine.
Oh yeah.
It was the way marketing influenced the world in the 90s is far greater than it does now.
Yeah.
And when, like you said, when they wanted people to start drinking more milk, it was Jordan's milk campaign that had a huge impact on the sales of milk. So that's when you said, like, when you started, before you said Gatorade, I was thinking you were going to go with milk because that was the first thing that came to my mind. I remember being at the school nurse and that big ass Jordan poster with the ruler on it and the milk mustache, standing there holding a glass of milk.
Yep.
And now that poster, if you can find one, it's worth thousands of dollars. There's not a LeBron poster out there that's worth thousands of dollars of him just holding a glass of milk. Nope. You're not going to find that. Nope. But the way that things were marketed and the way that things were done, because media was in such, it was the golden age of media. Ultimately, like 95 to 2005 was a golden age of media. Mm-hmm. So the impact that marketing had at that point was far different than it does now, because things were so much more controlled then, and we only saw what they wanted us to see. Now we see all of it, everything. LeBron picks his nose on the sidelines, we're going to see it. Jordan picked his ass on the sidelines in the 90s. You didn't know about it. Mm-hmm. So I think that's another different thing that I don't think gets talked about with that stuff, is the difference in the landscape, because you can't market the way now that you did that.
No.
I agree. Hey, Benj, we about to talk some football. You want to hang around or you got to go?
I'll listen. My team's Baltimore and we're out, so.
Yo, hold on. I got to say, that was a really great game played by Baltimore.
It was a great
game. Up front.
They made
whatever. You all laughing.
I'll just die laughing.
They tried to recover, and had we got that last conversion, it would have tied the game up.
I feel bad for Mark Andrews, though.
I do feel bad for Mark too, because 9 times out of 10, Mark makes that catch.
Well, you do realize that is the third time in the last 2 years that the Ravens have attempted to run that exact play on a 2-point conversion, and they failed it every single time. They failed it against the Packers down 31-30. They failed it against the Steelers last year, and then they failed it this year. Man, just heartbreaking, man.
I get that the Ravens had more of a. I get that the Ravens had more of a problem handling balls yesterday than Jay-Z at a Diddy party. The issue that the Ravens had, though, is the problem that the Ravens had yesterday, though, was that offensive coordinator, Todd Monken. That guy is the reason the Ravens lost yesterday. Not Lamar Jackson, not Mark Andrews, their offensive coordinator.
How you going to Derrick Henry and only run the ball 20 times?
Nope. That's why the Eagles won, because they kept giving Saquon the ball.
I don't understand it. I don't get it. You run the ball 20, 30 times.
Zero designed runs for Lamar. Zero design. That's what you have Lamar Jackson for.
Yep.
Jesus, what are they doing?
Yep.
Seven said the best.
Obviously, he's just standing there to look pretty.
That's what it is.
He's not the prettiest.
Lamar Jackson's one of the ugliest quarterbacks in the game. I'm sorry. If you got him to look pretty.
Agreed. I'm just saying.
But it leads to a bigger problem.
I gave an answer.
But it leads to a bigger problem for me, because I realize you didn't have Zay Flowers. I get that part. But you
had Bateman. You had Likely. You had
your wide receiver core is terrible past the tight ends and Zay.
No, you can't say past the tight ends, because Mark Andrews Like Mark Andrews has issues holding on to catches. He had a lot of drop issues yesterday.
But if you look at past history, he's definitely one of the top 5.
I will agree with that.
Let me go in.
Hit him, Kyle.
On the Ravens faithful. I'm sorry we have a Ravens fan in here. Weren't the Ravens like the 5th seed or something like that? Were they the 4th or the 5th?
3. They were the 3.
They were 3. They won their division. Yeah, they were the 3.
They were the 3rd seed. See, what the fans forgot is the Bills didn't have 3 starters on defense when they blew them out. They didn't have 3 starters. They were going into Buffalo, where it's cold, but they play in the cold.
Yep.
And they believed they own right. People had them out here like they were the number 1 seed in the NFL. They're not. They were 12-5.
Yeah.
Tony Romo started the game glazing. Oh, Buffalo's defense is too small. Pause. They held Derrick Henry to 80-something yards.
On 20 carries. 20 carries, and he only had 84 yards.
They didn't have the lead for 1 quarter. They were tied up. They never had to really look back. They played conservatively at the end. It was their game to lose. I'm not trying to hear all this, oh, no, the Bills didn't win, the Ravens lost. No, the Bills won.
Yeah, the Bills won that game.
Bills scored more points. They won. If this was, say it was the other way around, 27-25 Ravens. If Josh Allen would have played like Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen would have got all the blame for the loss.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And you're right. You're right. And what's crazy is yesterday.
Kevin, you start best. How do you beat the Ravens?
You make Lamar be a quarterback.
And that's exactly what Buffalo did. They took the running game out of the picture, so they forced Lamar to throw.
Yep.
Lamar threw more than he had to last night.
Yeah.
What's crazy is because Buffalo had a really good ground game yesterday. Like it was like James Conner looked really good. I don't think he even broke 100 yards, but like it was
James Cook.
James Cook. Sorry.
No, you're good.
James Cook had a decent game yesterday, but the Ravens have the number 1 run defense in the game this season. Realistically, yesterday, this should have been a complete shootout from beginning to end because of the way that their defenses have been historically this season. What we got was Buffalo being ready and Baltimore thinking that their offense was going to get them there. And then, like, every time the Ravens lose, Todd Monken called a horrible game. He should have lost play calling abilities earlier this season. It should have been Harbaugh calling the game yesterday. When they got down to the red zone the first time, they got down into the red zone and they didn't run the ball. I was like, did Todd Monken switch places with Pete Carroll? There were multiple times they were inside the 5 and didn't run the ball. You have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, 2 of the supposed greatest runners in the game right now. Yeah. How do you not have a strong ground attack against a middle-of-the-pack defense? The Bills had the 17th ranked run defense this season.
You know why? I told Will in the group chat earlier. You want to know why?
Why?
Because Todd Monken wanted his MVP quarterback to be the MVP. That's what he wanted.
He's not an MVP, though.
But that's what they wanted to prove. They wanted the MVP to be the MVP, and they didn't win.
So, looking at the stats right now for the game, the Ravens only had 25 pass attempts, and then they had 30 rushing attempts between the 4 players that ran the ball. That was Mark Andrews, 2 carries for 3 yards, Lamar Jackson, 6 carries for 39, Justice Hill had 5 carries for 50, and then obviously Derrick Henry, 16 for 84. I don't think that's enough separation. Yeah, you only had Lamar throw 25 times. But you only ran the ball 5 more times the entire game than Lamar threw, which means you kept the ball in Lamar's hands. Again, like Seven has said all fucking season, to beat the Ravens, you have to make Lamar Jackson be a quarterback. Now, on the flip side of things, Josh Allen threw the ball 22 times and only had 127 yards. But those 127 yards, the Bills made count based off of the turnovers. Yep. He got the 3rd down conversions when he needed them. Yep. If I'm going to lean towards a again, you guys know my stand. You guys know my stand. I think Saquon should be MVP. I don't. And Kyle, I know you don't like the Eagles, But I
Oh, no,
think
but
Saquon,
I like him. I like him.
I think Saquon
like
means
him.
more to
I like him.
Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I think Saquon means more to that Philadelphia offense than definitely Lamar in Baltimore because you got Derrick Henry to lean on. But then Josh Allen is just as important. But in a game like yesterday, Allen didn't throw any touchdowns. He had the 2 rushing touchdowns in the second and third quarter. But
Josh Allen made a bigger impact for his team with his legs yesterday than Lamar Jackson did.
Yep.
And that is a problem. It's like, for me, that stat, when I heard that this morning, 0 designed QB runs for Lamar Jackson.
Yeah. No, you will not win if Lamar is in the pocket. You got to get Lamar outside of the pocket.
Let me ask you guys a question.
No.
Are the Ravens completely, is that window closed for them?
No, as long as they have Derrick Henry and Lamar Jackson, they're fine. You said it best.
No.
The wide receiver room is absolute
It's
doo.
just trash.
If they don't utilize and play Jackson like they should, then are they?
Agreed. And when you
Todd Monken is the problem.
So you think firing Monken and you bring in a competent OC, you got a better chance?
I mean,
Here's the thing, and I'm going to say this.
Not, because if right now you're sitting with a play caller not allowing it to happen, you bring somebody in that might actually utilize Lamar Jackson for what he's worth. There's actually going to be room for improvement and potential Ravens actually doing something.
I'm going to piss a lot of Ravens fans off when I say this, but the Ravens offense would get much farther in the NFL if they fired Todd Monken and hired Mike McCarthy as their offensive coordinator.
I can go with that. I don't think that's a hot
It's going to piss people off, but I'm not wrong, and y'all know it. When you sit and think about it, I'm fucking right. Look what he did as the offensive coordinator with the Packers when he had Aaron Rodgers when he could run.
Yep. He's not wrong, Will.
I agree with him, and Will.
I agree to a certain extent.
They still need
because
you're just mad that Mike McCarthy is going to be the head coach of the Saints.
No, he ain't. No, he ain't. No, he ain't. Don't put that on my team either. But
Hey, Steph started it.
They've been putting it on your team since the moment it was announced.
No, it's not going to happen. No.
Loomis still looking past results.
That is not going to
already signed
happen.
McCarthy. You already signed him.
That's not going to happen. No.
What were you saying, Kyle?
The announcement tomorrow.
The Ravens themselves. So this is the thing. The whole not mystique. People used to be afraid of the Baltimore Ravens.
Yep.
Defensively, never off.
Yep.
Yeah.
They need to move on from Marlon Humphreys. They need to try to find a lockdown corner.
Marlon Humphreys trash.
A shutdown corner. They need a big body receiver. And maybe they'll do something. But they have to scare you on defense and offense. They're not scary on defense to me. They're not. They got Roquan Smith. Okay.
Days of Peter Bulwer. Days of Peter Bulwer and Ray Lewis have been gone.
Kyle Hamilton plays safety, no interceptions. He just wants to hit people.
Yeah.
Like, bro, you got to cover.
Roquan would scare me more if they still had Patrick Queen. If Patrick Queen is on that Baltimore defense, that defense is.
But you let Queen go. You let him walk for nothing.
They're relying too much on the impact of their offense to carry them through games.
Yeah.
That's honestly, and I think that if you want evidence as to why you don't want to do that, even when you have somebody who is arguably a generational talent like Lamar Jackson, he's not my favorite, but I will give respect where respect is due.
Yep.
If you don't put enough emphasis on having a stable and consistent defense, you get what happened to Kansas City the year that they lost to Tampa Bay in the Super Bowl. They had all of that weight on offense, and they did not have enough impact. They did not have enough of a powerful defense to keep control of games so that the offense had room to fail.
Yes.
Baltimore doesn't give themselves room to fail on either side of the ball, and that's one of their biggest problems.
I will argue with that only because Kansas City lost both of their offensive tackles in that AFC Championship game against Baltimore.
They had no offensive power, and they didn't have a defense to slow the game down so that their offense could actually.
I was just getting ready to ask: do you think that game there changed because wasn't Sutton the defensive coordinator going into that Super Bowl, and then he was fired, or was it Spags that was the defensive coordinator, and they just piled up the defense with better players?
Spags was there. Remember
that was already Spags.
Okay, yeah. So it would have been the 18 championship game against New England that Sutton would have gotten fired.
Yeah, that was Bob Sutton's last game with Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah.
And he hasn't coached anywhere since then. So
I don't think so. I think he's done.
And
but go ahead.
And speaking of the AFC, let's go to the other game in the AFC. The Chiefs defeat the Texans 23-14. Like the Texans had a chance in the first place.
Can I just state on the record, and I think Seven will agree with me. For those of you who don't realize or don't have TV land, I am on TikTok at Ando3818. I bring this up because I had a lady that I did a stitch with on TikTok yelling about how the world needs to rally around Buffalo so that they can beat Kansas City. And other people saying how the Texans got screwed because the referees handed the game to Kansas City. First off, if that's your opinion, fuck you. You don't know football. Let's get real. Let's get real. You're in the playoffs because you're a winning team. You're not in the playoffs because the referees held your hand for 17 games. So let's start there. Houston screwed themselves out of that win. When you have 2 missed field goals with, I would say, honestly, the most accurate kicker that you have had in your history as a franchise in Kyron Fairbairn. He is the best kicker that Houston has had. He missed 3 kicks yesterday. So that's 7 points, 2 field goals and an extra point. So that puts you from 14 down to 12 because you didn't get the safety to go to 14 until after 2 minutes. So it's 12-23. If Houston has the football, fourth and 7, down 23-19, you can aim for that first down. You do not have to go for the field goal. You do not have to go for that second score. Houston shot themselves in the foot. You also outgained Kansas City yesterday by over 125 yards, which means your offense did its job. Your offense was on the field for 36 minutes compared to Kansas City's 24. In a normal circumstance in a game like that, Houston should have ran over Kansas City with that game. It was because of untimely penalties by Houston. Houston screwed themselves, especially in that first quarter. That opening kickoff where they got hit with that unnecessary roughness or the unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. Now, granted, your defense came in spot on with that 3-and-out inside the red zone. Absolutely.
And then
perfect.
your dude attacking your fucking coach like an idiot. What the hell?
Nope.
Yeah.
Hold on now. Wait a minute. I'm going to defend it. Because when Travis Kelce yelled all in Andy Reid's face, it was passion for football.
Right. No, I think the guy that pushed his coach,
like punched his coach.
He shoved the shit out of the special team.
Yeah, he shoved the shit. It's Travis was yelling, and I think his last name, the player's last for the Texans that shoved his coach. His last name was Nico.
Yeah.
His last name was Nico. I'm pretty sure I remember that. That player ripped his helmet off on the field, ran over, got into it with his coach. You know what? I will call that passion because you know what? That's a guy that thought he just grabbed the momentum for his team in the biggest game of his career, and it was ripped away from him. So I would probably be pretty frustrated in that moment myself, so I can't judge him for that. But I think it is telling because, first of all, when Kelce yelled at Andy Reid, it was on the sideline. He wasn't ripping his helmet off and making a fool of himself in that game.
His helmet was already off and on the bench.
Exactly. Like his helmet was off. It was sitting back there. He stood there. Travis got out when he needed to get out. They went their separate ways.
Yeah. Discipline.
This player,
word.
Right. This player that he shoved his coach. He got in, and then they were yelling at each other on the sidelines. You're playing the biggest game of your career, bro. There's a time for that. So I will say to that, I can understand the criticism. But if we want to, let's entertain those 2 penalties that everybody seems to be bitching about. Let's talk about them for a minute. The hit from Will Anderson
on
Will Anderson, and then the hit with the 2 Tennessee players or the 2 Texans players' helmets colliding right there above Mahomes.
Yeah.
Let's go ahead and say that let's say that those don't happen. I'm not going to argue whether or not those are valid. There's different arguments on that.
I would say the first one definitely was because there was Anderson's helmet hit the face mask of Patrick. By the rule of the law, with that NFL rule, any contact on the quarterback's head and neck inside the pocket has
right. But by the rules of holding, there should be holding. By the rules of holding, there should be holding called on every fucking play in the NFL. Literally every play. That's the way. I mean, If you're not holding and getting away with it, you're not winning on the line. Anybody that plays offense or defense will say it. We've heard Jason Kelsey say it. He's one of the best centers to ever snap the fucking ball in the NFL. So let's the letter of the rule.
I'll
Miss me with that bullshit.
Yeah,
but
all right,
what I'm going to say, there's 115 plays in that game. 115 plays.
Mm-hmm.
Let's take away that too. Okay, sure. Maybe those were invalid penalties. Let's take them away and say that. There was 113 other plays in that game.
Yep.
CJ Stroud had no time yesterday or on Saturday. He was getting smoked from Kansas City's defense the entire game, evidenced by the 8 sacks and the fact that Chris Jones spent more time in the backfield than in front of the line.
Yep.
Yes, on Saturday.
Yep.
Kaimi Fairbairn looks like he needs to go to the Urban Meyer School for kicking.
Jesus Christ, 7.
Jeez.
Okay. The refs didn't miss those fucking field goals.
No.
So, for me,
laughter at the moment.
For me, the issue is there is not any accountability in the Texans culture.
Yep.
If you look at everything from that game on Saturday, there is no accountability. Chiefs players, whether they win or lose, they take accountability.
Yep. And that's what I love
Ravens players, Ravens players, whether they win or lose, they take accountability.
Yep.
And nobody, despite the bad play calling in that game yesterday, called out Todd Monken. Nobody.
Which they should have.
Which they absolutely should have. When the Cowboys lose, it's always somebody else's fault.
Hell, you can say that about the Lakers.
I'm a poke fun. I'm gonna poke a little fun at our Chiefs guys on the panel. So, all right, they talked about it this morning. One, the Chiefs do get favorable calls. Let's just call it how we see it. They do. A lot of times it's 12 men on the field instead of 11 with that ref out there. But my thing is, if they're getting the calls, just whip their ass. Go up on them by 14. Make them come the fuck back. That's really all it is. Now, the one thing I watched for like an hour last night, I just watched a clip somebody put together. The reason I say the Chiefs get a lot of calls is Patrick Mahomes does get favorable treatment over other quarterbacks. The flopping shit he did when he got pushed out was nuts.
Oh yeah, dude.
That shouldn't have happened. That shouldn't have happened. I'll agree with that.
Patrick,
that was nuts.
If you ever watch this show, Patrick, stop flopping. You're not LeBron.
He gets, now mind you, he gets calls again. These roughing the passes and shit. He gets them. Jayden Daniles doesn't get them. Lamar doesn't get them. I hate Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts doesn't get them. That fucking running, that tiptoeing shit he does near the line, and then faking like he's going out and stays in. I want somebody to knock his fucking head off.
Light his ass up. Light his ass up. No, you're right.
Light him the fuck up. He'll stop doing it.
Yep.
But
it's when he has to miss a couple of games because he got lit the fuck up on the sideline because he was screwing around. Right. He's gonna stop doing it. But
for everybody out there that's watching, everybody in America, if they're getting the fucking calls, who cares? Who cares? I don't give a fuck. Just go out there. If you don't like them, pray your team.
You gotta beat them.
All you have to do is get the fuck up on them and keep them down. That's all you have to do.
Here's the thing, and I think that this is something that I don't think gets talked about enough. Okay, a lot of people are frustrated because what we're getting with Mahomes, we got with Brady.
Yep.
Brady got the calls. Okay, and you know, as a result, you know, everybody used that as the excuse for why Brady won. So many things. One is, you know, and there's people that are shocked that it's happening again. Let's say, you know, okay, it's happening. Yeah, Kansas City's the most penalized team since Patrick Mahomes started, statistically. Kansas City also has the highest penalized player of the season at right tackle in fucking Juwan Taylor, who was so bad the Cowboys wouldn't even keep him. But we're you know, so but let's go ahead and look at that and say that they're getting some of those calls, okay? You mean to tell me you're surprised that Roger Goodell wouldn't seize the opportunity to, as fast as he possibly could, diminish the legacy of Tom Brady by putting somebody else to look better?
Yeah, that's what it is. It's a lot of that too. It's definitely a lot.
Of course, Goodell wants to tarnish the legacy of Brady.
It's a lot of that.
I'm not surprised. It's happening at all. Am I happy I'm getting my team's benefiting from it? Fuck yeah. Absolutely. Why wouldn't I be? If it was your team, you'd be happy too.
Think about it. Remember, we just talked about this not too long ago. Remember, I said y'all had a lot of one and dones. Kansas City was always one and done. They get in, they right the fuck out. They get in, right the fuck out. My thing, again, like you said with them, oh yeah, Tom Brady got the calls. I saw Tom Brady get lit the fuck up.
Yeah.
No flags were thrown because that was when you could hit people.
Yep. It's a different game now, though, just like with the NBA and what we were talking about earlier.
Yeah. So like we said, if y'all got a fucking problem with them, beat it. Just beat them. I personally, and I think everybody would be entertained or would entertain, even with y'all being Kansas City fans, if the Commanders in Buffalo went, it would be great for the fan bases. It would be great for television. If they both win.
Honestly, I think the NFL's fucked either way.
The Commanders are a damn good story.
The Commanders are a damn good story. And the Bills making it would be a damn good story. I agree. But a damn good story doesn't sell a Super Bowl.
It doesn't. Like, I don't want to see, I'll say it this way. I don't want to see y'all play the Eagles because I know how the people act here in the city. That's my thing. I want them done. I want them out. I want them gone.
It's not fair. Honestly, at this point, I'm conflicted. Because if the Eagles make the Super Bowl, they're just going to get fucking steamrolled.
Yeah, I need y'all in there to fuck them up. I need y'all in there
to fuck them up. They're just going to – even if the Bills beat us next week, the Bills will fuck that team up.
Yeah, man. I need them out.
It's not – it wouldn't be fair to NFL fans for that to be the Super Bowl with the regardless of who's on the AFC side. The Eagles in the Super Bowl is bad for the NFL. But I don't want the Commanders to get it either because of the curse of Jim Kelly. I want Jayden Daniles to have as much success as possible. I want Jayden Daniles to be the Peyton Manning of the NFC and finally give Patrick Mahomes some true, solid competition on the other side of the goddamn conference.
All right, you guys. I'm going to go ahead and take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk about the NFC. We'll get into some baseball, then we'll go ahead and finish up. Hang out with us. We'll be right back.
National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, the National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage, for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.
Football season is here, and SeatGeek is my go-to for buying tickets. Now with SeatGeek, every single ticket is backed with their buyer guarantee. We've all had plans change, and when you can't make it to the big game, SeatGeek has you covered. They're the only ticketer that allows you to return your tickets ahead of the event for credit with SeatGeek swaps. So when things come up, I know that my tickets won't go to waste. So what are you waiting for? Download the SeatGeek app to maximize your possibilities and shop live events with confidence.
All right, real quick, Ben's had to roll. Just say thank you to her for coming through, talking some NBA. We do appreciate her being on tonight. Hopefully we'll see her again soon in the up and coming weeks. All right, let me go ahead and bring everybody back in. All right, we got everybody back in, and I did want to go ahead and talk about the game that just quite frankly pissed me off. The damn Lions lose to the Commanders 45-31. And I'm up here saying, who does Jared Goff play for?
We talking about Jared. So you know that was the appearance of the Rams, Jared Goff.
That was the Rams, Jared Goff that played.
Jared Goff finally showed up.
Oh my gosh.
Listen, I was really mind blown at the fact that the Lions lost. Like that, like they've been doing. Listen, I wouldn't have expected that.
I got to say this on camera. I apologize, Todd Bowles. I apologize, Todd Bowles. We held them to 23 points. The number 1 seed in the NFC got 40 plus hung on their head. I'm sorry, Todd. I apologize.
I said it earlier this season, and a lot of people thought I was crazy. There was even talk at some point earlier this year that Jared Goff was an MVP candidate.
Hell no. I told y'all that. Hell no.
Jared Goff is a fucking liability. The Lions will not make it past the NFC Championship. They will not make it to the NFC Championship as long as they have Jared Goff.
I am going to respectfully argue, and here's why. They didn't have any issues with Goff. Now, granted, yes, there was one other game where he threw 5 interceptions, and that's a game that they beat the Texans on Sunday night. But I think the rest of the season, I personally would have followed Goff into battle. I am going to argue and say that when Goff took that hit at the end of the second half, at the end of the first half, he was not the same quarterback. I think you should have stuck with Teddy Bridgewater. And I know I know I'm going to catch flack for that. Teddy Two Gloves, I get it.
Oh, tore his ass up.
Dude, you guys saw Goff just had that glassy look in his eyes after he got up from that shot. He didn't seem like the same guy. And
you saw a guy had to be brought in who not too long ago was coaching high school football.
He led his high school football team to a championship, all right?
He did that championship. Now he came back to the NFL.
That guy's gotten more championships for his high school than Dallas has for their football team.
Damn.
Teddy Two Gloves has 1 title.
Don't hold back at all. Don't
hold back.
To argue the point, I think Goff is an exceptional quarterback. I think the term serviceable, I think is underselling who Jared Goff is.
That's a compliment.
Smoking, Ando.
I gotta stop you for a minute. I gotta stop it. Exceptional?
Do I need to take this away from you?
Yes.
Kevin,
take it away.
Is he exceptional? Is he exceptional or serviceable?
So a lot of people say that he's serviceable. I think he's better than serviceable. I would take Jared Goff. Hold on. So you mean to tell me that you would take Derek Carr over Jared Goff for New Orleans right now?
But Ando, you know who Jared Goff reminds me of?
Who?
He looked fucking phenomenal until they ran into the Pats. He reminds me of Matt Schaub.
Okay.
He reminds me of Matt Schaub.
And for the record, to be honest with you, a healthy Carr and a healthy Goff, what's the difference?
So
yeah,
it's similar.
What's the difference? It's not
with
much.
The same weapons, they're the same quarterback.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but I have to agree with Will on this.
Okay, and that's the thing I love about this panel is you guys have your opinions and you guys aren't going to waver from them. Me personally, I think with the culture that Dan Campbell has, I think Goff gives them the best chance to win until or unless they find a better quarterback than Goff. They don't have the market or the money to pay for a better person. So that's why I think moving forward, they need to run on the Knuckles and Sonic. Only put Goff in a position to throw where he has to. Okay. Don't put the offense around him.
I think that you would find more success in Detroit if you had you would have to have the most stacked offensive line in the NFL.
Or a healthier team just in general. 31 injuries this year.
A healthier team in general.
I think a healthier team helps, but it's the NFL. It's got to be next man up.
Yep.
There's no excuse. Kansas City was embattled with injuries this year and still found a way to get to the AFC Championship.
Yeah, you can say what you want. It's going to be the Super Bowl. We'll beat the we beat the Bills. And Erica, you keep your left comment to yourself.
I respect the Bills enough to wait, but if you have to have a stacked and consistently healthy offensive line in front of Goff to give him time, because if he gets rushed, he is absolutely horrible. And
with his head cut off instantly, like he does not know what the fuck to do.
Are we underselling the fact that the Commanders' defense is just that good?
The Commanders' defense is not that good.
So
the defense trash.
To Ando's point, I will say this: it's the reason I said the Rams version of Jared Goff Jared Goff showed up is because again, when him and Matt Stafford switched places,
Stafford won a Super Bowl right away.
It was a change of scenery for both, and they both looked good in those different uniforms. Jared Goff he's played well since he's been there.
Yeah,
but
I would think first year was a bit of a learning curve, but then since kind of Dan Campbell's given the reins to Johnson, being that OC, which is a whole nother story in and of itself.
But Saturday night, that Rams version of Jared Goff showed up.
Yep.
And I don't know how Washington made him show up. That's the thing. The score should have been flipped. It's no way they should have lost by that much.
That was going into that game. It was Detroit's game to lose to a point. Yep. But we also have to remember that Detroit on both sides of the ball, just like I believe Erica mentioned it. I know, Ando, you said something about it. 31 people on the injured list.
Yeah. And it doesn't help that the Lions had 5 turnovers in that game either. And how many points did they have? I mean, well, hell, one of those turnovers resulted into 6 immediately because it was a pick 6.
Mm-hmm. It was. Well, and you're right. You're right. They lost the turnover battle. They lost the.
What's up, Erica? What's up, Boo? What's up?
Hey, so I don't mean to interrupt or anything, but Ryan Day just saved his job at OSU.
Yep.
They just won.
He had to.
He'll just be there one more year until Michigan beats him next year.
The next year they lose to Michigan and don't get a natty, he's gone.
No, for sure.
For sure.
Sorry, I have to side note that
they looking to get rid of Ryan Day, to be honest.
It's and I think he'd benefit from a change of scenery. And but another year of Ohio State being right up in it because Ryan Day can still do it.
Yeah.
I tell you this right now though. I really see Ohio State win it than Alabama.
Yeah.
Fuck Alabama. Fuck them.
You can thank my team for that.
Yes. Fuck Alabama.
The ultimate reason that the Commanders won yesterday is because they were healthy, they executed, and they also just allowed the Lions to make mistakes.
They kept that defense on their toes the whole game.
Considering they were 2 for 2 or 3 for 3 on 4th down conversions after that messed up one they had in the first quarter.
Yep.
That was the only one that they missed.
They kept them on their heels though. They kept that defense guessing the whole game.
They essentially played the Lions offense against that Lions defense, and that Lions defense was not ready.
Is it a stretch to say? I argued with somebody earlier about this. Is it a stretch to say that Jayden Daniles right now is the best quarterback in the NFC East?
Oh,
yeah.
I would.
No, it's not a stretch. No, he absolutely is.
Okay.
I think he is.
I think physically he's better than Jalen Hurts. And the only reason Dak Prescott is even in the conversation is because the numbers that he's putting up is when his team's down by 30. So
you might be right about that, Kyle. You might be right now that I'm thinking about it.
I'd take him over Dak.
He didn't listen. He didn't turn the ball over last week.
Nope.
Has he turned the ball over at all in the playoffs? For a rookie, that's incredible.
He did not turn the ball over at all.
And that's I think the credit that Dan Quinn doesn't get, and I think to an extent Cliff Kingsbury. To a certain extent, they're letting Jayden Daniles play within himself. So Jayden knows what his limitations are. He's not going to put the ball 40 yards down the field on every single throw. He's going to look for his open opportunities. Yep. Right. And if the option, if it's there, sure, one-on-one, I'm going to give that opportunity a shot. But he's smart enough to know that this is not LSU versus some other SEC team. It's the NFL, so the defense is going to be ready. Let me take a look at what I have otherwise. And he's nimble enough. I mean, I don't look at him as a scrambling quarterback. I don't put him in the same category as Lamar. But that kid can run. The kid has the ability to take off.
I just look at the fact that you helped him tremendously because you look at the way that offense is stacked.
Yeah.
I can't stand Austin Eckler's punk ass.
Would you say it's
but he's
that,
still
though?
good. But
I
he's
mean, it's
still
not
good.
It's
But
not Detroit.
he's still good when he's healthy. You got Brian Robertson, who I don't know what he's doing half the fucking time, but when he's on, he's on. You got Terry McLaurin, a damn good receiver. You got an up and coming Noah Brown, and then of course you got Zach Ertz at the tight end spot. So he's coming in with offense. That's the one thing. And then credit Dan Quinn for coming with an offensive game plan that suits his skill set. That's something else that you have to give up too.
I will say this, and I have, anybody that's watched this show for any length of time will understand that Cliff Dingleberry does not have his last name.
Don't do that.
But I have to appreciate the success of the Washington Commanders this year and what Cliff has done in helping to establish Jayden Daniles as an NFL talent. So I will recognize that and say, if he had come into the NFL not as a head coach, but as an OC and then become a head coach, he would have a much better appearance as an NFL coach than he currently holds, because he's going to have to be an OC for a few years. We're going to have to see Jayden Daniles get to at least another Super Bowl, not counting if they make it this year, and possibly get at least a ring before he will be able to be looked at as a reusable head coach in the NFL because of how bad things were in Arizona. Some of that was organizational. We can all agree on that.
Yes.
But it was a disaster.
That's a fact.
Can we just say that over the last 24 years, well, excluding obviously this year, but for the last 24 years, that fucking slime ball of an owner, Dan Snyder, is running the team, being a lewd pig, offering cheerleaders up as escorts in Costa Rica. That fucker leaves and Washington is one game away from the Super Bowl. That's fucking culture right there.
That's karma.
That's as Bruce Allen would say, the culture here is actually damn good. No, the culture now is damn good. And when you beat the Eagles on Sunday at 3:30, it's going to be much better because for the
hold on, wait a minute, hold on. Now let's go ahead and talk about the Eagles real quick. They did beat the Rams 28-22. They beat the Rams to a point where Matthew Stafford was reportedly thinking about his future today.
Of course he is. He should be.
Eagles don't. So you guys don't give the Eagles a shot?
It's not that I don't give a shot. I don't want to give them a shot. It's the fucking Eagles, bro. I don't like Sirianni. I think Sirianni is a cocky piece of shit. Jalen Hurts is an OU quarterback. No offense, Erica. No offense. He's an OU quarterback.
He's an Alabama quarterback. Let's ignore the OU part. He's an Alabama quarterback.
He was Bama first.
He's an Alabama quarterback, right? The only player that I like on that offense is Saquon. I mean, sure, Devon Smith, another Alabama receiver.
Devontae Smith.
What did I say? Devontae Allen? Oh, okay, whatever.
Devonta Smith.
Yeah. Look, I like Goddard and I like Barkley, but I don't like an organization that as a fan base, you throw fucking snowballs at Santa and the fucking vet. Like,
fuck that. I'll do you one better. Michael Irvin broke his neck.
Yeah.
That team is cheering.
That shit was nuts. But no, well, I can't sit and say, oh yeah, Washington's gonna win, because they can be scored on.
Yeah.
They can definitely be scored on.
Yeah.
If they get that same version of Jalen Hurts from yesterday, next Sunday afternoon,
they're going to be tough to beat.
Eagles might lose. Dan Quinn is going to be up all week. All week. You got to coach him up. And you have to do something again. You know what they have to stop? You don't have to fucking worry about that back end. Stop Jalen Carter.
Yep.
You stop Jalen Carter, y'all got a shot. Just stop it. Keep him the fuck away from your quarterback, and y'all got a shot.
The other front guy, Nolan Smith.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter and Nolan Smith is where you have to start on that defensive line.
Yep.
The Commanders are playing with house money.
Yep.
The Eagles are playing with expectations.
Yep.
This game weighs differently for both teams. And when you put expectations on an Alabama quarterback,
Oh, they fold. They fold.
Things don't go well.
They fold like origami.
And
fold like Buffalo Bills.
There is some supreme talent on that Eagles team. I'm also a big fan of Saquon Barkley. I'm a big believer that Saquon should be the MVP because the Eagles are not in the postseason without Jalen Hurts, without Saquon Barkley on that team.
I just would like to state for the record. Let me state for the record that I've been saying all year Saquon has been MVP. I don't want you guys jumping on my damn bandwagon without knowing that.
The just like the Ravens would not be in the postseason without Derrick Henry. I just can't. I cannot, in good conscience, call either team a playoff team without their dynamite running game. So, for me, when I look at the Eagles, they have a lot more to lose in this game, and the Eagles, unfortunately, too often, under their current regime with Nick Sirianni and Jalen Hurts, when they have a lot to lose, more often than not, they lose.
And that's the unfortunate thing is that you will literally see Jalen Hurts revert back to Bama Jalen because he just crumbles under the pressure and it's sad to watch.
Jalen B. Hurts.
Well, as long as he doesn't crumble back to OU Jalen, I think he'll at least be okay.
He's pretty good at OU. So
how many bowl games did he win?
How many natties did they win with Jalen Hurts?
Hold on, hold on. I got the answer to this, Seven.
Oh, okay. All right. Just curious. You know, I'm a big stats guy.
You guys, that's just wrong.
Did you see it, Erica? Did you see it?
I think everybody would agree again with the game next week. It's not about the Eagles going to the Super Bowl, whatever. If Saquon Barkley goes to the Super Bowl, that is the biggest fuck you to the New York
Giants.
Yep, it is.
I think the New York Giants front office has to be rooting for the Commanders right now.
Oh, they have to be.
If I'm the Giants owner, I'm calling the Commanders. What do you need from us? For the love of God, please beat them.
Are you sure that they're doing that? Because again, it's the Commanders. They're supposed to be the laughing stock next to the Giants.
Yes.
So this game is a win-win for the NFC. What a lot of people are calling the NFC least for 4 or 5 years. This is the worst division in football. Now you got two teams that are ready to represent the NFC in the Super Bowl.
Nobody is more butthurt right now and hopes both teams lose. Jerry Jones. Jerry is praying they both lose.
Draw.
He hopes both teams get teleported to the Phantom Zone.
I saw some stuff today online that Jerry Jones did not expect Mike McCarthy to leave.
You guys do realize that Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn, offensive and defensive coordinator of the Cowboys in 2022, are now 1 away from the Super Bowl with Kellen being on Philadelphia and Dan being on.
That's why Jerry Jones is hoping both teams end up in the Phantom Zone.
You guys do also realize I learned a fun fact because of Washington beating Detroit on Saturday. Since 2000, there's only one NFC team that has not made it to the NFC Championship game since the year 2000.
It's the Cowboys.
Cowboys. You want to know the other team that hasn't made it to AFC Championship game? Houston. So that Longhorn state of mind that football is everything in Texas and your two professional sports teams haven't made it to
playing football is everything in Texas. Winning football doesn't mean shit.
Winning football doesn't mean shit in Texas.
All right, guys, let's go ahead and finish up with our baseball news. So, we got any
hold
baseball
on.
news
Can we get predictions real quick, Will? Who do you think is going to win the AFC? Who do you think is going to be in the Super Bowl next week or 2 weeks from now?
Buffalo and Philly.
Okay, Erica.
As much as this is gonna taste like shit coming out of my mouth, I know the sheep.
Savor it, Erica. Say those words.
No.
Just pretend it's your man's balls. Just swirl it around in your mouth a little bit.
Gurgle them if you have to. Gurgle them if you have to.
Enjoy it. Listen to the moaning of pleasure from the man, and it's okay. It's okay.
You know, the deeper the moan, the better the pleasure. That's all I'm going to say. If it's a throatal groan, you know it's lovely.
But
Erica, you got to say it, Erica. Spotlight's on you.
I already said it. I said the Chiefs versus somebody.
Okay.
She said
Kyle,
somebody.
what about you?
All right, so the fan in me,
Yep.
Buffalo Commanders.
Yep. I think that's the game a lot of America would love to see at this
Logically, Chiefs Eagles.
Okay. 7.
The fan in me is Chiefs Commanders. I think that's honestly, I think it would be a good game. There's a lot of good storylines, and a gigantic fuck you to Jerry Jones and Dan Snyder in one fell swoop would just make me giggle. Just giggle like a little schoolgirl. Just like I would. Realistically, I think both of these games are far more of a toss-up than people are willing to admit right now.
I think this is the best matchups in the championship series games that we've had in probably the last 4 or 5 years. I think maybe.
I agree. I mean, I would say since the 2000, what was that? The 2021 postseason where the 13-second game was that 2000? Was that 2021?
That was 2020 because that was the year that the Chiefs lost to the Buccaneers in the Super Bowl.
Okay, so then, and that was, in retrospect, that was actually a solid NFC and AFC championship game.
Because it was Green Bay losing to Tampa and then Kansas City beating Buffalo.
So I will say since then, this is the best matchups we've had for AFC and NFC title games.
And I can absolutely agree with that.
But realistically, I have to go Chiefs Eagles.
I'm going to agree with you on the fan base. I would like to see Kansas City and Washington. Excuse me. Sorry, tickling my throat.
Erica, sorry, I'll pull back a couple inches.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate it, man. For real though, as the fan, I wouldn't mind. Again, wholeheartedly, Kansas City and Detroit going into this weekend was the game that I wanted. Had Kansas City lost to Detroit in the Super Bowl, I would not have been butthurt. Going into this weekend, I, as a fan of football, do not hate the Bills and Commanders, and I do not hate the Commanders and the Chiefs. If the Eagles make it, I want the AFC to win it at this point. As a wholehearted fan of football, the professional side of me believes Washington can and will pull this off. I think Washington wins on the NFC side. I think Kansas City wins on the AFC side. I personally and professionally believe we will have a Kansas City and Washington Super Bowl in 3 weeks.
I mean, honestly, that's my opinion because I'm already so surprised by the Commanders.
Yep.
There is a part, really big part of me wants to say it's going to be Chiefs Eagles, but with where we're sitting and with what the Commanders have done so far, that's why I'm like Chiefs versus somebody because I don't know at this point.
As a fan of football, if the Bills beat the Chiefs, I will not be butthurt. The Bills have beat us once already this year. It's the matchup that I personally wanted. I know a lot of people in my family were, we already beat the Ravens this year, so we want to play them again. Not necessarily. I want us to play the better team in the playoffs. The Bills match up with us so much better because of the rich history that we have in the playoffs.
It's going to be a battle.
If we lose to the Chiefs, it's one of those games where it's like, hey, pat on the back. I will get on to TikTok. I will holler up Wyatt's World and Sports Schmitty. I'll give them credit right off the bat. Hey, go Bills, bring the tables to the Super Bowl, and I hope you guys crush them.
Well, and that's the thing. Oh, go ahead, Kyle. Sorry.
You know what's insane? This is the crazy. I just thought about this. This Bills and Kansas City game.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if they start advertising it as this like Saturday or Friday. Y'all do know this is going to be like Brady Manning.
It is. It is.
It is. It is.
It is absolutely.
Tom had 3 under his belt, and Peyton finally got past him. This could really be it. Like Josh could get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing that I was going to say is that like you guys got beat by the Bills. So why would you not want to play the Bills?
Oh, I absolutely, dude.
Because of the fact that it's like, okay, y'all are what's stopping us. You're the only team that's beat us. Yeah. I want to beat you to get to that end game because then I know I'm the best of the best.
I wanted the Ravens to win the game because I know Kansas City can beat the Ravens.
Yeah.
The Bills are a really good fucking team.
Absolutely.
And I don't think that enough of the Chiefs fan base recognizes the supreme talent that is on that roster and how much Josh Allen is almost Jordaning this and just willing his team through this season. They don't have a bunch of big names at wide receiver. You got
Dalton Kincaid and Dawson Knox. Or
you got there's nothing spectacular about most of that offense or defense. Like I said, their defense was middle of the pack. This defense is this team as a whole is honestly a pretty good caricature of the city of Buffalo. Because there's not really a lot of names, but there's a lot of results.
You could argue that this particular Buffalo team, feels like Kansas City did in the 2019 playoffs when they went on to beat San Francisco.
Because there was more. There was more statistically. There was more talent on that team than there is on this Buffalo team. But this Buffalo team is doing more.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
All right, you guys. We got any baseball news, 7?
Yeah, we got a couple of things we need to dive into.
Okay, let's go ahead. Go ahead.
Bum. Baseball news with 7.
I didn't know if you were on things. So okay.
Go ahead.
The Dodgers signed a couple of different players. We had Sasaki, the Japanese player, and then we also had they signed a closer.
Tanner Scott, I think is his name.
Yeah. I'm trying to get it back in front of me. I was looking up the game, the NCAA game. They also signed Scott for a $72 million deal. Tanner Scott. Yep. And this has a lot. The Dodgers at this point have over $1 billion in deferred salary that starts I believe it's 20. It's 1.3 billion.
1.37 billion.
1.375 billion in deferred salary that starts, I believe, in 2033.
What would you do with $1.3 billion?
There's a lot of criticism about what the Dodgers are doing. That there should be updates to rules, and that the conversations around MLB having a salary cap and salary floor have intensified. But here's the truth of the matter. A lot of other teams have had the ability to do this.
And so now we decided to buy everybody. That's what happened.
A lot of teams have had the ability to do this. They just didn't. The Dodgers are doing now for baseball what the A's did with Moneyball. And I'm going to explain why I'm saying what I'm saying. The Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani, deferred a bunch of money so they had plenty left as far as the salary cap stuff was concerned, even though there wasn't any even though there's not a salary cap in baseball. But one of the things that people don't really understand, after the Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani, they turned around and started signing endorsement deals with companies. Some of them Japanese companies. The Dodgers now own the Japanese market for American baseball. The Dodgers own it. They have signed over $1 billion in endorsement deals with Japanese companies alone since they signed Shohei Ohtani. The Dodgers have paid Shohei's entire contract, plus all of that deferred money that they're sitting on, that they need to have, that they're going to have to pay out with the signing of Shohei Ohtani. The truth of the matter is, the reason the Dodgers are able to do what they do right now is because of the uniqueness of the Shohei situation. You don't have another player that's going to have that kind of a financial impact on one team Patrick Mahomes is not having that kind of financial impact on the NFL.
Nope.
LeBron James, in all his greatness, Steph Curry, in all his greatness, they are not having, even combined, LeBron and Steph could not have that kind of an impact on the NBA. So part of the reason that this is happening is because of the uniqueness of Shohei Ohtani. If we had Babe Ruth in today's game, and then it would be the same thing.
I would argue, I think the closest player, even in the Japanese market ever in the history of sports, that could give you that kind of impact was Ichiro, because you felt something like that in Seattle in 2001 when he signed. But even then, that wasn't as big as Shohei.
Exactly, and that's the thing.
Not as big as Shohei. I mean,
no.
And I think that's the thing that ultimately I think is getting underscored by the whole conversation around should there be a salary cap or a salary floor. I would actually be supportive of that. I really would. And there are teams that could not afford to spend the money that the Dodgers are spending right now. The A's can't spend that kind of money. They can't. They flat out can't. The Chicago Cubs, one of the more storied teams in Major League Baseball, who is a iconic staple in the city of Chicago, where Jordan actually won championships. The Cubs are a staple. But they would not. They don't have that kind of impact they don't have the ability as an organization to be able to spend that kind of money unless you get another Shohei Ohtani.
And I don't think you do. Shohei's on a level of his own.
Exactly. That's the truth. So could you cripple things a little better by adding a salary cap and a salary floor in Major League Baseball to try and make it more fair? Absolutely. But the truth of the matter is the other teams still aren't going to be able to spend even to the cap because they just don't have the money as an organization.
Right.
The Cubs don't sell tickets and advertising the way that the Los Angeles Dodgers do. They don't sell tickets and advertising the way that the Yankees or the Red Sox do.
Exactly.
The money isn't there. You can't pay players money that doesn't exist.
I was going to say market and location have a big key to play to that. I was going to also say I think the closest player in any other sport, at least in this generation, that could draw the interest would be maybe Luka. But even Luka, again, doesn't have the pull that Shohei has.
No.
And Luka's a damn good basketball player.
Yeah.
Maybe Wemby, but Wembenyama. But I mean, but he's still 3 or 4 years away from being like that really big player in San Antonio.
Luka is not bringing attention to the NBA from the international market that he comes from, that Shohei is. Yeah. That is literally the difference maker because there is a ton of money in Japan, and Japan loves to gamble and sports bet.
I mean, and Ando, if you go back and you look when the World Series was going on, they kept constantly showing highlights back in Japan. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, constantly. His hometown, this town, that town. I mean, there was constantly different towns in Japan that were being shown on TV. So, I mean, like, he's literally on a whole ass other planet of his own. While being the most humble person ever, which is amazing.
He is the Michael Jordan of baseball in this generation.
All right, Seven. You got anything else, my friend?
Let me double check. There was the A's.
Verlander got signed by the Giants, didn't he?
Yeah, and the Blue Jays signed Anthony Santander today, 5-year, $92.5 million deal. I think the Blue Jays needed a player like Santander, but because of the fact they haven't really done much else in free agency, I don't know that it's going to make an impact. Erica, what do you think?
All right. Real quick, let's go around the room, make sure everybody's good. Anybody got anything else they want to add to the show before we get on out of here?
Mike McCarthy needs to be an OC. He should not be a head coach right now. He needs to be an offensive coordinator. Let the dust die down from the Cowboys stuff for a little bit. Honestly, Mike McCarthy's best spot would be to be the offensive coordinator in Chicago. You give Ben Johnson as a head coach, Dennis Allen as a DC, and Mike McCarthy as your offensive coordinator. That is a team that contends for the playoffs consistently. I'm not going to say they're going to win titles, but they're going to be better, and they can actually build a positive reputation for all of them. Dennis Allen and Mike McCarthy need it. They don't need to be running the team right now.
No, and I agree. I think baby steps for the Chicago Bears. They can't be looking at Super Bowl already. They have to be looking at being competitive for a playoff spot or looking at winning that division. But again, you had 3 teams this year, 11 wins or more in that division alone. Baby steps, you got to make it to the playoffs first.
You got to compete first, yeah.
Yes. Anybody got anything else? Kyle, you got anything else you want to say before we get out?
Oh, no, man. I'm going to enjoy the next 30 days till I start my new job working from the crib. So
there you go.
Work from home? Dude, I work from home. I love it.
It's amazing.
I will say this. We haven't said this at all. Fuck Jerry Krause. Fuck Rob Manfred. Fuck Jerry Jones.
And fuck Tom Thibodeau. Fuck you.
Fuck Tom Thibodeau, yeah.
Fuck you, Tom Thibodeau. Fuck
we got
you.
somebody off of our fuck list that we forgot. So, Erica, and this is a fuck list of people we hate, not fuck list of people we want to,
Oh, well, fuck you, Jerry Jones.
Hell yeah.
That's what we said. Yeah, Jerry Jones is like the first name on the list every year, man. Jerry Jones, Rob Manfred, and Jerry Krause.
Fuck you, Jerry.
Yeah.
No, fuck you, Tom Thibodeau, for what you did to Derrick Rose. Fuck you.
Yeah.
And damn one of the damn games, you taking him out, he's still in there and gets hurt. Fuck you. All right.
Fuck you.
If there's nothing else, I want to say thank you to everybody in TV land for being out there with us. We do appreciate you guys. Had a good audience tonight. Thank you to Benz for coming through. Hopefully she'll be back with us in the next coming weeks. And we will see you guys next week right here on the Sports Report Podcast. Everyone have a good week. Stay warm and take care.
Wow. I want baseball back.
Gotta finish football first. Go
I
Chiefs.
know. We're almost there. Baseball time.